Hi everyone and welcome to your Christmas Create Cocktail Box Masterclass. My name's Jessie.
I'm Simon.
And today we're going to be making a PassionStar Martini using Absolut Vanilla. So everything you'll have in your box is some Absolut Vanilla vodka, passion fruit puree, Prosecco, cinnamon syrup, pineapple juice, a lime and passion fruit.
So we're also going to be needing some equipment and a few little bits from your household to make these drinks. So I'm going to walk you through that now. This is a shaken cocktail, so we're going to need a Boston tin. So we'll be using this. We're also going to need something to measure the ingredients with as well. So I actually have a jigger here. This measures 25 millilitres, and on this side we have 50 millilitres as well. Now we also have a strainer, a Hawthorne strainer. I've also got a fine strainer as well. And we're going to be squeezing some fresh lime juice today. So for those of you at home, I'm also going to be using a Mexican elbow, which is going to make it really easy to extract some of those juices. And then hopefully we also have some glassware. So I've got here a coupe glass or a Martini glass will work really well. And then just a simple little shot glass to go on the side.
So Simon, what can we use at home if we don't have a cocktail shaker or a jigger?
I mean, that's a really good question, Jessie. So if you don't have a shaker, maybe look around the house, but something like a mason jar would work really well. Maybe even like a protein shaker could work quite nicely. What I always like to do, Jessie, is I actually like to put all my liquid into the smaller tin to start with. So we're going to start with our Absolut Vanilla. Now, Absolut Vanilla is completely made with natural ingredients and is completely unsweetened. Now we're going to be using 50 millilitres of this.
So if you don't have a jigger at home, this is about 1 egg cupful.
We're now going to go in with some passion fruit puree here as well. Now we're going to be using 12.5 millilitres. So approximately that's half a shot or half my measure here. I can actually see, I'm lucky in my jigger, it shows me where 12.5 millilitres is. So I'm going to go in with my 12.5. We are then going to use the same measurement for our cinnamon syrup as well.
Nice,
So the
very
exact
Christmassy,
same.
very festive.
Of course, cinnamon just reminds me of the winter period. Next, we're going to go in with some pineapple juice as well. My favourite thing is the texture. It's that creamy velvet texture. It's that lovely froth you get on the top. And that comes from the protein that you find in ingredients like pineapple juice. We're going to go with 50 millilitres here, so the same measurement as Absolut Vanilla. So 50 millilitres.
Nice.
And we're also going to be using a little bit of fresh lime juice, as I mentioned. Now, a little tip for you guys at home. If you want to extract more juice from a whole lime, I always recommend just rolling it on the chopping board, on a hard surface. It's going to make it a little bit easier when we're extracting that lime juice. But approximately we're going to use half a lime, so squeeze all the juice out of half a lime. One thing I always like to do is I like to chill my cocktail glass. So I'm going to fill this up with ice now, just to let it chill. It just means my cocktail is going to stay cooler for longer. It just means that my guests, my friends, are going to enjoy their cocktail for longer.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill this up with go 2/3 of the way with cubed ice.
Why so much ice, Simon? Surely we don't want it to be too diluted?
We like to use a lot of ice. I always like to say ice is nice. We're trying to control the dilution as well. So the more ice in there, the slower that ice is going to melt and dilute the cocktail.
Ah, okay.
We want to dilute the cocktail a little bit. We want to shake it and cool it down, but we definitely don't want to water it down. So I always say about 2/3. So if you can see that. For those of you who've not made many cocktails at home, I always like to pour this in at an angle. So just over the ice, pop it in at an angle, give it one good whack on the top, and that means it's fully sealed, so I should be able to lift it from the top of the tin. Do be sure, we don't want to lose any cocktail whilst you're making this at home. And then the fun part, let's give it a good shake. Nice. You know it's ready when it's been a bit too cold to hold. And one thing I think people struggle with is how do we release
I always struggle with that.
You see where this starts to smile? Just here. This is where we're going to hit the tin. Take the strongest part of your hand, which is just below your thumb. Give it a good whack, and you should hear it pop undone.
He makes it look so easy. I don't think it is that easy.
I'm going to get rid of my ice, my excess ice. And then we're going to fine strain this. So my golden rule is anything shaken, we should fine strain it. We want to get rid of any of those little shards of ice that are broken apart. So I've got my little fine strainer.
That looks seriously good. So it's the pineapple juice that gives it that creme on top then?
Yeah, it works. And using things like fresh pineapple juice will work really well. This is why you find like egg white is in some cocktails as well. It's that protein that gives it that creamy, velvety texture and that lovely froth on the top.
Beautiful.
So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to chop this in half and then just float this on the top there.
Perfect.
And then most importantly, we need to have a little bit of bubbles to go on the side. So I've just got some Prosecco.
Now, how are you supposed to do this? Are you supposed to have the Prosecco before, after, pour a little bit in?
I find that passion fruit cocktails can be quite sweet sometimes. So I always like to have a little bit of bubbles on the side. It just means that if it gets a little bit sweet, I can have a little sip and that's going to cleanse my palate and I can go back to the cocktail and really enjoy it.
Sounds good.
So this is your PassionStar Martini. I hope everybody who's made this at home along with us does enjoy it. But cheers, everybody. Cheers, Jessie.
Cheers, Simon. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. That's delicious.
That is seriously good.
Seriously good.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today making a PassionStar Martini. Hope you've all had a wonderful time. Please do share pictures of you enjoying the serves on Instagram. And don't forget to follow and tag Create Cocktails and Absolut UK to be in with a chance to win an amazing Christmas drinks hamper. So thanks very much, everyone, and happy Christmas.
Cheers. Cheers.
Can't get enough of this.